I was asked to come and speak here about disruption and the way forward on what technology is going to do to us. I said, I'm not a techie, so why are you asking me to come and talk to you? But I think it's one subject that's dear to my heart, dear to me, in terms of disruption and doing things differently. And what can I talk to you about techie? You're all techies. I mean, technology is something that you all breathe, eat, live. With a CS Joe Musheru, ex-Google, Kenya is on the way to disruption. So what I want to share with you is some thoughts and some ideas on where we are, what we can do, and what's going to happen. In terms of business thinking, not in terms of techie, because techie, I think you've got all the products. Kenya has done a lot in terms of fiber optics, in terms of last mile connectivity. And I think this connectivity, thanks to people like Bitang Demo and others who really made this happen, has enabled us to become a level playing field. The playing field was not level. If we as companies don't go along with tech and really become different from what we are today, we're going to be left back. And that's going to be disruption as we know it. We can have telemedicine, whereby we'll have, in a bag, we'll have the whole diagnosis equipment going out with an ordinary nurse going to that place. Whoever's sick, the nurse checks all the vitals, puts it through the digital stuff. It's portrayed to a doctor somewhere sitting wherever in the world, and that's an expert. He screens, he checks everything out, and gives you a diagnosis. If the diagnosis is XYZ, it goes to a specialist online, and the other guy online would actually say, here's the prognosis. This is what we are suggesting for you to do. So the entire diagnostic step can be done with digital disruption without having a specialist doctor available at site. Now, I was told that the doctors won't allow this. The Kenyan doctors will lobby and say, don't allow this because this is something that's going to disrupt us. We have built hospitals, we have built clinics, and they must come to us at Kenyatta, into Nairobi, and do all that stuff. The status quo. So I think disruption is about removing the status quo and saying, guys, we can disrupt. The beautiful example was when banks didn't object to the disruption happening in M-Pesa, and M-Pesa came on. And the father of M-Pesa, Bitang Demo, just stepped out, but this is how M-Pesa took over a lot of stuff. Nobody objected to it, it got done. When other countries tried to do it, they were stopped because the bank said, hey, hold on. This thing is disrupting us in banks. But if you want to compete with the post office has a postcard and they send it for 15 paisa. 15 paisa is like 0.15 of a shilling, right? And that's a stamp at that time. It says that's a postcard and people can send that across. And that's the message going across. If you want to disrupt that, you've got to see what can you do below that price. And that's how the entire fiber optic bandwidth nerve system was built in India. And based on that, Reliance built its own whole network. It's the same way as happened in music, right? We used to have something called a record, you know, a big record player, and the records. And then came these cassettes, and then came the CD, and the CD is also gone now. Now it's all on cloud. A lot of things have changed. I think this is coming in. For manufacturers, for people in business, this is important. There's a frog that was put into a water pan. And there was water put into it, and there was hot water in there first. When the frog was put in, it immediately jumped out because it was too hot. The other pan, there was cold water, and the frog was put in, and slowly the water was heated, boiling, slowly. So slowly, as the heat came up, the frog didn't move. It stayed there until it got boiled. And that's the situation in a lot of businesses, a lot of industries. And I think this is where we're at a fantastic time right now. We've got bandwidth, we've got connectivity, we've got a government that's listening to us. We've got people around us saying, hey, you know what, we don't understand this, so guys, techies, handle it. And we can actually disrupt this. We can also leapfrog. Why I'm saying leapfrog? Because today we are in a position in Eastern Africa or Africa as a whole. If we say we're underdeveloped, if we say we're third world, if we say we're not really up there, it's our time to say we can leapfrog to the latest.